Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Courtside Soundoff podcast today. As always, I'm Josh Ivanoff. He's Angel Ortega. UFC stuff to talk about today. Mostly UFC stuff, but a little bit of NBA and a smidge of Last Dance talk because we're both behind. I didn't see the latest one, but I know it's about Rob, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. But the biggest news being, since we, did our show last week, the UFC confirmed that UFC 249 is happening at the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida. In addition to that, they confirmed two other shows happening the same week, May 13th and then May 16th. As for the show on May 9th, UFC 249, the rest of the card was fully confirmed. The only three fights we had at the time of our recording last week were Ngannou, Rosenstrike, Hudo Cruz, and Ferguson Gaethje. Three amazing fights, but since then, we've had more bouts confirmed, including, but not limited to, Jeremy Stephens versus Calvin Kattar on the main card. Greg Hardy versus Yorgan De Castro on the main card for some weird reason. Donald Cerrone versus Anthony Pettis as the headliner on ESPN Plus prelims. Alexio Oleinik versus Fabricio Verdum. Fabricio Verdum is back after a 2-year hiatus. And Carlo Esparza versus Michelle Watterson is going to be happening as well on that card. And the people's fight, the people's champion, Uriah Hall, taking on Jacare Souza. I think kind of the big thing that I want to talk about is, out of all of these fights confirmed, which is the one that you kind of singled out as the fight that you're most looking forward to? Because I feel like there's a lot of stuff to like in UFC 249. And last week, which fight I was looking forward to out of the top three confirmed. But since then, we've had a whole slew of other fights confirmed.
Oh, wow. Well, look, Cowboy Pettis, man, I think both those guys are bringing excitement. They're both names. They're superstars in their own right. And I'm curious to see, Cowboy, you saw it on ESPN, or I don't know if you haven't, but he said it in this fight with Conor. He wasn't Cowboy. Donald came in, but Cowboy wasn't there. I wonder who we're going to get that night. Are we going to get Cowboy, or are we going to get Donald that night against, Pettis? Because, I mean, that's a good fight there, no matter what. And I just want to see kind of what he brings to the table that night and whether or not – because he's been getting thrown into these high-tier fights, for month after month after month, just competition, fighting the best of the best. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen now against Showtime.
You brought up Cowboy, and I thought that was interesting, and I actually really am looking forward to that fight because somebody has to win here. Because I think Pettis has more in the tank than Cowboy, and I really don't want to be mean to Cowboy because I love Cowboy Cerrone with all of my heart. I was really, really looking forward to his fight against Conor. I thought this is going to be the one where he shows up. I didn't pick him to win, but I thought he'd give a better performance. And then, yesterday he was talking about how he wasn't showing up for that one. He wanted to be anywhere else because that was the biggest fight of his career. He's had some championship fights, but he's never been a pay-per-view headliner. He was a part of a 1 million pay-per-view buy card. There were reports that it did 2 million buys. The card was huge, and it was by far the biggest fight of his career. And he said he couldn't get up for that one. I'm like, if you can't get up for, Conor McGregor, then what can you get up for? Anthony Pettis, on the other hand, I had high hopes for him after he knocked out Wonderboy Thompson because a lot of people said that was a fluke. But if you watch that fight, watch it back, you see he's doing a lot of work downstairs and he's taking out Wonderboy's movement, and eventually he just catches him, which was kind of, and afterwards they said that was the game plan, and that he started to notice that Wonderboy can glide away and he started to lean away, and that's when he landed the Superman punch. So I am looking forward to that one a lot, but a part of me is a little bit concerned as to where Cowboy's head at. If he can't get up for a fight against Conor McGregor and a pay-per-view headliner at the T-Mobile Arena, I'm not sure what he can get up for. But I do think that fight's going to be crazy. Outside of Uriah Hall, Jacare Souza, that one's a people's fight. We know that one for sure. I'm not even going to bring that one up. However, Esparza Watterson should be a lot of fun. But the one I'm going to point out, Alexio Oleinik versus Fabricio Verdum is a grappler's delight, man. I am so excited for that one. Verdum is going to be back. He's been gone for a while because he popped for the good old roids. But Oleinik, 46 wins by submission. Last time around, he beat Maurice Green. He's beaten Mark Hunt, Travis Brown, and then Verdum, obviously, probably the greatest jiu-jitsu fighter at heavyweight of all time. Submitted Fedor, submitted Walt Harris, Cain Velasquez, Antonio Nogueira. The list goes on and on. He's probably the greatest heavyweight submission artist of all time. So that one is going to be Grappler's Delight. I'm really, really excited for that one. So, as for the rest of the shows happening, UFC is planning a show on May 13th, which will be main evented by, and this card's more complete than the May 16th one. I should bring that one up. Being main evented by Anthony Smith versus Glover Share. That was originally scheduled for not that long ago. Anthony Smith was in the news actually recently because he had a fight off a home invader who was totally high. You guys should look that one up. Look up that video because that guy was fucking insane and on all sorts of drugs. But that card also has Ben Rothwell, Ovince St. Preux, Andrei Arlovsky, Felipe Lins, Drew Dober, Alexander Hernandez, and Michael Johnson, Thiago Moises. So there's a lot to like on that one. And then 3 days later, UFC Fight Night 176, also from the same. These are all from the same arena. Overeem versus Harris is main eventing the card. That's the only one that we have confirmed right now. I'll ask this. I think I'm fine with the UFC returning, given all that they're doing in terms of preparation, such as sending out test kits to all the fighters and coaches, as well as kind of having more test kits. Because the last time they did a UFC card, they didn't even test people at UFC Brazilla. So having more test kits, I think, and just being overall more attentive, I'm fine with the cards happening. However, are they kind of rushing this too quickly? Because it's one thing to have a fight every single week, have a fight card every single week, but they're cramming in 3 fight nights into 1 week. Like, is this moving too quickly? Like, are they doing too much too soon?
It is a bit far-fetched. I mean, when I heard that news, I was like, wow, that's a lot to manage in general for a group of people to do. I mean, it's hard to set up an event, for normal people in any normal circumstance, let alone the kind of situation we're in now and the level of, stuff and preparation they have to do to set up all these events. It is a bit, I don't know if I should say worried, but there is some, you have to be a bit skeptical when it comes to it, because it's kind of like, well, are they really going to complete these promises and do? I mean, they don't really have to, but I mean, them just being back once a week would be great. 3 times is a lot, so I mean, good for my entertainment, but I'm just like, will they be able to pull it off? That's just kind of my thing. If they can do it, kudos to them. If they can't, that's gonna suck for them, because I mean, it's just gonna be a giant mess for them.
Yeah, and part of me is really worried because I feel like one of the things I thought that they should have done, and I thought they were going to do, was once the fights happen, you got to clean the fucking arena. You got to go ahead and you got to sit down and you got to go ahead and clean backstage areas, clean everything vigorously, because not only are you having tons of people go through, I don't know if they're testing coaches or not. I know they're testing fighters, but I don't know if they're testing coaches. So a coach may have it and you don't even know. And I suppose because they're going to be doing the empty arenas, there's going to be more rooms for people to train. So that means they're not going to be all crammed into one room, but that's also more stuff you got to clean. And whenever you're putting more rooms to clean and you're putting these fights so close to each other, a couple of things. You're making this to where we're gonna change our upload schedule. So fuck you guys. We might have to do 2 a week. Goddamn, no. But jokes aside, you're kind of making it to where you don't have the time and the availability to make sure everything is as safe if you want it to be, because you're not having any time to go ahead and clean the arena, make sure nobody tested positive, make sure that everything's all good and okay. So I feel like they're kind of rushing it a bit. I think having one show a week would be fine, and maybe sometime down the line, later in the year, maybe July or something. I mean, God knows when they're going to get fans back in the arena. I don't think that will happen maybe this year at all. I mean, it sucks to say, but that may be the case, that we may not even have fans in the arena for the rest of the year until the vaccine comes out. Which, I mean, based off what we're hearing, there's reports that apparently they're already doing testing with vaccines, and there's some good stuff happening in terms of the development and overall just acceleration of getting a vaccine done, and hopefully we'll be able to have fans in the arena, and we'll know for sure that we're being safe and good shit's happening. And that's what I want. I want to be able to have fun again. But yeah, I just feel like they're kind of rushing it too quickly. I don't feel good about it. Like I love that fights are back. I love that UFC 249 is a stacked card. I wrote up a long piece about how that card came to be on Courtside Press. If you guys want to give that one a read, I thought that was really, really good to show the kind of, if you guys haven't been keeping up with the story and some of the stuff that you may not know, everything from the whole Fire Lake Arena and Oklahoma City to the Indian reservations to Fight Island, all that stuff, then give that one a read. But speaking of Fight Island, this isn't actually on our list to talk about, but apparently Fight Island is happening. It's confirmed. I know last week we were kind of a bit hesitant. I know I thought it wasn't really going to happen, but I saw Dana White said in an AMA on Reddit. He did it, by the way, the funniest fucking AMA I've ever seen on Reddit, because I thought that one was going to be a disaster. It was funny as hell, so you guys should go look that one up. But I guess he confirmed that Fight Island is happening, and part of the reason why Fight Island is still going to be happening is because we don't know when this whole thing's going to be done. He said there may not be fans for the rest of the year, and that it's just going to be a good investment at that point. Angel, I know you're the most excited man I've met for Fight Island. Let's say everything gets back to normal within a few months. Do you still think it would be funny as fuck and just honestly awesome to have an island exclusively for fights?
Dude, I don't know who it was who was talking about it, but there was a couple guys. I think it was Chilson who brought it up. Years ago, they fought for this promotion. They had fights actually like on the beach, not on. I don't even think it was on an island, but it was somewhere. And they said they liked it. They said it kind of sucked though because they were outside and this and that and whatever. And they said it was a cool time though, and they really enjoyed it. So I'm like, that could prove to be appealing to some people. Obviously under the circumstance, maybe not best, but future wise, that's kind of cool. I mean, we get this I don't know, this different vibe of them, and this just not normal stage. I think that's just entertaining to me.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be entertaining. For the record, I know what you're talking about. It was Bodog Fight, the promotion.
There you go.
Chael fought in it. Who else fought? I'm pretty sure Jorge fought in it. I know Eddie Alvarez fought in it. And one of probably the most famous fight was, I'm pretty sure that
Fedor fighting?
Fedor fought Matt Lindland, I think. And it was controversial. I don't remember what happened to where it was controversial.
It was the rope grab, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was it. It was that was pretty damn controversial. I know Chael was really pissed off about it because he was like teammates with the guy. He's like, he was getting one over on Fedor, and Fedor. I mean, you know how Chael Sonnen talks, but yeah, that's confirmed. Other MMA news that is also confirmed: Vitor Belfort, TRT Vitor is coming back, boys. We're not sure when One Championship is going to have fights again. They're kind of more in that area where they're having a lot more positives, and so we don't know when they're going to happen. I know they officially canceled their recent shows for May and June, which they originally going to have with no fans, because they're canceled. But one of the fights that was confirmed for whenever they do come back, Vitor Belfort at heavyweight, I believe, taking on Alan Nagani. I really hope I'm not messing up this guy's name because I love this man. Nagani, he's 4-5. He's a former kickboxing guy. He's a karate champion, and he's a black belt in every single thing that has to do with striking. He's 5 foot. He's 5 feet 10 inches of absolute steel. He weighs 240. And he's a fucking monster. If you guys have some spare time today, if you're listening to this podcast and you have nothing else to do, because you probably don't because you're in quarantine, although it's starting to lift around parts of the country, but anyways, if you guys have time, look up Alan Hagani fights in ONE FC, because you're gonna have a really, really fun hour or so. Only an hour, because he still only had 9 fights, and they were all finishes. So you should go ahead and look that one up. But Angel, how do you feel about the matchmaking here? Because I feel like Vitor, he's a UFC legend, former champion, and it's his first fight outside of UFC in a long time, and he's taking on this absolute beast of a man.
I mean, like I told you before the podcast, I mean, this is a specimen of a human being. Granted, it might have been made in the lab, but that doesn't matter. They're not here. They don't need to worry about that. It's all good. This is entertainment, man. From what you tell me, from what I see, it's gonna be a banger. And like I said, anything for the entertainment of the people, I am for when it comes to matchmaking. And I think, just from what you've told me on paper, obviously, we don't need to say anything for him. We know we're gonna get a good fight. He's been gone for a while, but we're gonna get a good fight. I know we are. It has to be. There's just no way it isn't.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a really, really fun one. And he hasn't fought in a long time. I think the last time he fought was UFC 224 against Lyoto Machida. I'm pretty sure that was it. And he got knocked out with the front kick. That was one of my low key UFC 224, and I think you guys should go watch it again if you guys have time today. Low key UFC 224 is one of my favorite main cards in recent memory. I know that the main event was Nunes Pennington, which was kind of a mauling. I mean, honestly, I felt bad for Raquel Pennington. But outside of that, the Kelvin Gastelum Jacare fight was amazing. Mackenzie Dern got a really, really nice finish. She knocked down Amanda Cooper, submitted her. John Lineker, Brian Kelleher was a war. And then Lyoto Machida knocking out Vitor with a front kick. That card only had like 85,000 buys, and I know that nobody even paid attention to it because it's a small Brazil card. But that was one of my favorite cards in recent memory. Like that card was fucking dope. So yeah, you guys should go watch that one on Fight Pass if you have time. That card was absolutely amazing. I tell everybody this because that was my favorite card of that year. I remember that little card really, really vividly. But yeah, guys, that fight is confirmed, and this is something I thought that would be fun to talk about. Because I saw this thread on Twitter where people were talking about what is the worst MMA take / prediction you've ever had, and it was, we could talk about multiple. And so I saw that thing on Twitter, and there were some really fucking bad ones, but I thought that we could potentially top them with some of our worst takes or predictions that we've had over our years of been watching MMA. Because I know I've been watching for like 6 years. Angel, I think you've been watching for 4, I think.
Something like that. I know it's less than you. It was the Connor and Aldo year. I know that.
So that was December of 2015.
Yeah. So yeah, right about yeah.
So I mean, I don't care which one of us starts because I have some off the top of my head of just absolutely terrible takes. I have.
I'm sure I have many. There's one that we both have that I know we can relate to. I don't know if you were. I don't even remember what our take was back then on what was going to happen. Actually, this was prior to the podcast. Actually, the one I'm going to bring up.
Okay, well, go ahead and bring it up because I want to see if I remember what my take was.
It's the CM Punk.
Oh my god!
Where we thought, we didn't think we had more hope for CM Punk. Let's put it like that clearly.
Dude, I remember because it's funny because that was actually the one off the top of my head. But the second I saw that thread, I'm like, dude. I remember whenever UFC Fantasy was a thing, which still makes me really upset that UFC.com took away UFC Fantasy. ESPN's doing it now, so we have that. But it's like a thing where it's like a new league every single week, which kind of sucks. Which actually, I can check if they have to see UFC 249. But anyways, yeah, I remember for UFC Fantasy, we'd sit down like at school, in high school, and we'd go ahead and look at the fights that were happening and we'd predict them. And I remember I put CM Punk submission round 1. I was I didn't even know if he was going to win, but I had so much hope that he would actually win. And like, by the way, actually UFC 249 Fantasy is live. So something I'm going to do, I'm going to make a group for the Courtside Soundoff podcast, and I'm going to send out a link later today if you guys want to join. And up until May 9th, we can make picks. I know last time we did that, but there's only like a day notice, so I think we only had 7 people. But regardless, I remember making that CM Punk prediction, and like I wasn't even sure if he was gonna win because I didn't know much about Mickey Gall at that point. I knew he was training out of Gracie Gym. I knew he had lots of jiu-jitsu talent, and I watched his fight against Mike Jackson. And Mike Jackson, I know, is he's a really, really good boxing guy, really good kickboxing guy, but I didn't know much about his ground game. So I saw that Punk fight. I knew he was training with the Gracies, and I think it was Henzo who predicted a first-round submission for him. Like, well, fuck, Henzo Gracie knows more than I do, so I predicted first-round submission for CM Punk. Probably the worst MMA take I've ever had, but I have some more if we want to keep on going.
I mean, literally, and then this is just one that I can just throw out there quickly. Literally any time I probably pick Mike Perry to win.
I mean, okay, well, you predicted. I remember the one that you were correct in predicting was him against Cowboy Oliveira.
Which is crazy because where Cowboy Oliveira is now after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he went on the downswing, but Cowboy Oliveira at that point, he was a ranked guy. I think that was one of Mike Perry's only ranked wins because he was a bad motherfucker. Because I remember he fought. He had a really close fight. It was really close. I say really close. He dominated Gunnar Nelson in round 1, came back to lose round 2, and got submitted. But before that, he was on a tear. The Cowboy Oliveira is a bad motherfucker, man.
Oh yeah.
Off the top of my head, other bad picks that I've had. Well, a good pick that I had was I went ahead and
Might as well throw a good one in there.
A good one that I had, I thought Mike Bisping was going to beat Luke Rockhold, but that was more just hope than anything. I had no real reason to think that. I could find, you know what, I had one in my head before we actually started talking, and now it's gone, and I'm really pissed off. Oh yeah,
Heartbreaking.
I thought that Eddie Alvarez was gonna wrestle fuck Conor McGregor. I thought that was gonna happen. I'm pretty sure I remember we watched it, and I might have said that Conor's gonna stop him in round 2, but in the back of my head, come fight day, I was like, dude, Eddie, he's a former collegiate wrestler. He's just gonna wrestle fuck him the entire time. I was like, there's no way he's just gonna put him on the cage and he's gonna be able to do nothing.
Oh yeah.
That was probably one of my worst ones.
Dude, oh man, another one. Saying that Yoel Romero versus Israel Adesanya was gonna be an amazing fight. Fight of the year, fight of the decade, fight of the century. You know, ended up not even a decent fight, I'd say.
Okay, so I went ahead and I found an old thread from Reddit, because I've had a Reddit account for such a long time, and I have they have bold prediction threads for the year. A couple of mine just off the top of my posts on Reddit. Conor fights and loses and retires in 2019, did not happen. John Jones fights Anthony Smith in 2019, was right, gets rocked, does not happen. DJ retires in 2019 after winning some fights and won. CM Punk beats some can on a Fight Pass promotion. And then a couple of other ones that I remember back from history. I predicted that. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I thought Ronda Rousey was going to beat Amanda Nunes. Yeah.
Boy, little do we know now.
Well, in all fairness, her coming back, I remember she looked in shape. She looked ripped. They're putting out hype videos, and there was. Do you remember that? Because there was so much hype.
They just released. Oh no, it was a big deal. I remember it. We talked about it. We were like, shit. I'm not gonna say that, but there was some backing for Ronda. There was faith in Ronda up to that point.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna win. I thought because listen, I've seen a lot of Nunes's fights. I was like, you know what? I think she's probably gonna dart in. Ronda's gonna get a hold of her, judo throw her down, and probably just submit her because her grappling is better than Nunes. Little did I know, she would not get the chance. She got rocked by the first, not the first punch Nunes threw, but the fourth punch she threw. I remember that card distinctly. Because we were at Sopro. I remember that, and I remember watching the Cruz Garbrandt fight right before it and being super into it, and then Nunes Rousey was such a disappointment. My other worst prediction off the top of my head, and it's one that it was the one I was thinking about earlier that I couldn't remember. I thought that Mickey Gall was going to end up being just this amazing fighter in the UFC. I really did. He came in, he was 23. He beat up Punk, he beat up Jackson, he beat up Sage. And I was like, you know what, this dude, he has so much potential. He has amazing grappling. And since then, I don't even know what the fuck he's doing. I have no idea what Mickey Gall's doing. I know he won his last fight against Salim Torhi. Before that, he got mauled by Diego Sanchez. He's like 29 now, or 28. And like I was like, this guy's gonna develop. He's gonna be amazing. And since then, he hasn't done anything. I remember he was gonna fight Cowboy Oliveira in February, but then he pulled out, and no explanation was given, which made me think somebody popped. Not accusing anything, but whenever fights happen and somebody just pulls out for no reason, like literally no reason was given. They didn't even give like a family reason or anything. I thought maybe he popped, and with USADA's current rules of they don't say it, I thought maybe. But yeah, just off the top of my head, those are some of my really, really bad predictions. One in the future that will happen, I'm like 99% sure. I am going to predict Felicia Spencer to beat an Amanda Nunes, just so you guys know, in a month's time. I'm dead ass. I'm straight up, dude. I think she matches up really, really well. Like, as somebody who's watched all of her fights, been live for some of her fights.
That quote's not familiar.
Listen, dude, listen. Hear me out here, okay? That's gonna happen next month. All right. Nunes hasn't been able to prepare that much. That's why she put it off a month. Felicia Spencer's gonna be bigger than her. Her grappling is amazing. She's a great gas tank. And if you watch that Cyborg fight, she has no problem getting her ass kicked for 3 rounds.
Oh boy.
And Nunes only has 2 good rounds of gas, bro. If you watch that Jermaine Durandamy fight, Jermaine Durandamy, like submission-wise, wrestling-wise, is one of the worst women like at bantamweight when it comes to that shit. Felicia Spencer's gonna be bigger than her, has a better gas tank, and has like 3 times the grappling that Jermaine Durandamy does. Or Jermaine almost submitted her twice. That's all I'm gonna say about that one, bro. And listen, if she gets knocked out in the first, then I'll be wrong. But I'm saying Felicia's gonna win a month from now. Like, that's not confirmed yet, but they're aiming for June.
Can't wait till you put that somewhere on the internet so it's archived forever.
Listen, I've been writing for like 3 years now, so I have 3 years worth of staff picks that you can go back through and look at. Like, and I'm wrong the majority of the time. Like, I'm near the bottom of our writer like staff picks every single time.
You need to use them. You need to use my picks, Josh.
Well, I mean, I could, but like also,
I'm up on the year right now, not by a lot. I think I'm up by like 1 or 2, right?
I can check that out by right now. By the way, you know what sucks about this whole thing? Our whole thing of predicting champions at the end of the year isn't really like fair now because nobody's fighting. Like, a lot of people are not fighting.
I think a lot of the people we picked stayed the same for the most part.
Well, at featherweight, you predicted Holloway. I predicted Zombie. We both picked Joe B for flyweight, which did not happen. Bantamweight, you predicted Cejudo. I predicted Sterling, and Sterling said he's not even going to fight during the pandemic, so there's no way. Yeah. Lightweight, we both predicted Habib. You picked Masvidal. I picked Usman at welterweight. Middleweight, we both picked Adesanya. Light heavyweight, you picked Jones. I picked Reyes.
Which, I mean, I'm pretty right so far on that.
I'm still upset because I picked Reyes. I went out on that fucking limb, and he actually won that fight and lost. Like, come on, dude, come on. Like, the one time I'm
heavyweight. That's the one we what was that? Who we picked for heavyweight?
We both picked Ngannou.
We both picked Ngannou?
Which might happen.
Yeah, interim champ.
Hopefully. Because it's not like Stipe's ever going to fight soon.
Yeah, and it's not like that DC fight's going to happen time soon either. And it's not like DC's going to defend that title either after he gets it.
Exactly.
So,
and for the
who
record,
gives a fuck?
I'm 9-7, and you are 12-4. On main event and co-main event picks.
Pretty good so far for the year.
Yeah, like, that whole end of the year stuff kind of sucks now because now, like, almost none of those are going to be right.
Yeah, Masvidal was probably going to have one big, like, a really big fight this year, and it's probably not going to happen because he just, for whatever reason, now.
It was going to happen in July, International Fight Week. Him and Usman were going to fight.
That would have been a banger.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen. Like I said, the one I'm really upset about, was obviously the Reyes one. That one really, really upset me because I'm like, the one time I go out on a limb and make this big upset pick that would have like nobody was picking Reyes to win. Like I remember some people there was people talking on Twitter about like, is Reyes like the worst John Jones opponent ever and all that shit.
What? This
Like,
man was good. This man did great.
but it was because of the Vulcan fight. And his biggest win was Chris Weidman, who's getting knocked out by everyone, and Vulcan he arguably lost to. But I see where people were coming from. But I was like, dude, he matches up so well with John Jones. And then I made that prediction, and he won 3 rounds. Okay, John Jones fans are blind to the truth. They'll say John Jones, the fight was stopped. Like, if John Jones ever gets knocked out, they'll say it was stopped too soon, and he'll literally be dead. Okay, John Jones fans you can't ever talk to, but like the vast majority of media and normal fans thought that Reyes was robbed of that one, and I still think that. But
Alrighty.
regardless, that's one that irritates me. But if Reyes and Jones have a rematch, I still might even take Reyes again.
Which would make sense because he matched up very well, and I wouldn't contest you for that.
Yeah. Anyways, I think we can kind of move on from this one and into the bigger NBA. The only real NBA news, sadly, actually, shit, I forgot NBA news came out last night. Angel, have you seen the story about where they might play games?
Yes, I did. Please
All right,
feel
cool.
free to announce it.
We'll talk about that after we talk about this. The NBA, if you are a player in a city that is lifting restriction rules as to the home, like stay-at-home order, and you can go to your practice facility, then you're allowed to go there now. Because previously, the NBA has said nobody's in or out of practice facilities, nobody's allowed to go in, nobody can go, nobody can train, you've got to stay at home. But now they're allowing players that are in those cities to go train, which, looks like it's the first step in allowing players to kind of get back more into shape to potentially have the season. Because right now, we should be in playoff fucking basketball, but we're not.
Did you see someone who was pissed about that? I saw someone was like legitimately pissed that they did that. I don't know who it was.
Wait, pissed that there's no playoff basketball?
No, pissed that they opened up like the practice facilities.
Was it a player?
I think it might have been a writer. There might have been, and then just some. I think there was some people in the general public who were just mad about it. I'm like they were just generally mad. Like they were being hateful, not hateful, but that's the wrong word. But they were just not happy about that happening.
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. I remember seeing something on Twitter about it. And I saw some people were actually mad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a good thing. It's tough. It's a tough situation, but overall, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with people being allowed to practice, especially considering like one of two things has to happen. Either we need to go ahead and settle on when we're gonna do this shit, considering that now the country's actually starting to lift, not really lift them. I saw that Kansas City's doing a thing where like they're working on a 3-step plan, and starting May 3rd or May 15th. Like 10 people can be allowed in a place, 10% or something like that. And I know that Georgia and Florida are already. I know Georgia's already open, and Florida is open for certain events. So the NBA needs to kind of hop on this. I really don't want to tell them to rush shit because I don't want them to rush anything, and I don't want anybody to get hurt. But I think they need to go ahead and settle on if they're even going to have a season or not. Because at this point, we haven't had basketball for like 2 months now, and I think they need to kind of settle on it. But before they settle on it, we are in potentially the most fun timeline because if there's all this terrible shit that's happening, it's almost guaranteed that the rest of the year will not be played with fans. However, the NBA is considering using Disney World as a venue to restart the season. That's right, Disney World. And according to Shams, I believe, who's it's not a Woj bomb, but it's a Shams bomb. And apparently the idea would be that all 30 NBA teams, or 16 if the regular season is canceled and they jump straight into the postseason, will be quarantined in the same location to limit potential exposure. A number of possible locations have made the rounds, including Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and the Bahamas. But according to Shams, the league is seriously considering Disney World.
See, I feel like it would only work if it was playoffs. That's my thing. Because then it'd just
Yeah,
be 16 teams. It'd be half the league. And
I
then if
thought
they got
that the whole time.
and then if they got eliminated, it'd be like Fight Island. They just get eliminated off the island. You know?
Go the fuck home. What do you think? Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, you know what? I think they have to start in the playoffs. And I was listening to a podcast earlier this week, the Domcast. Shout out Dom2K, and he was talking about this. It's like if you wouldn't even, it's not even just next season and delaying the start of next season, because hypothetically playoffs, they should be happening right now if you want stuff to be normal. But let's say you don't start until June. You're putting free agency on the back burner, and you're putting contract negotiations on the back burner.
Well, maybe you're not. They're just happening at the same time.
They're just ongoing. But I'm not sure how that would happen, because like how can you have free agency when playoffs are still going on? Like, how the fuck is that possible?
Hey man, people got traded in the middle of games last year.
You're right. But like still, like I'm not even sure how that could be like feasible. You know what I mean?
I don't know. They'll figure it out. It's not our problem.
But you're right. I'm glad I'm not. You're right. I kind of feel bad now for being like, you know what? They got to figure out this fucking thing. But like, also, I'm not the one making decisions.
We're not Adam Silver, thankfully.
Not. Thank God. I like having hair, but yeah, Disney World. Apparently, they're looking at it. I think they got to start in the playoffs. Like, I honestly do. But apparently, part of the reason they're considering Disney World is just because they would be close to the Orlando Magic facilities, which they could train at. And they could have more facilities, and it would just be easier. And Florida also is one of the states, we brought up UFC, that will allow sporting events without fans. So, yeah, that's one of the things that they're looking at right now. And of all the solutions, I think that one would be easily the funniest.
We're having Fight Island. Do you think that's funny?
I think Fight Island's hilarious. It's literally the fucking. That's how Mortal Kombat happened, dude. Like the Mortal Kombat movie. Like, come on.
No, you're right. But still, I mean, no matter what, we're in an interesting situation nevertheless. I don't care.
Like, in my head, the thing with the NBA is they're gonna have the finals, and whoever wins the finals, they're immediately gonna like, you know how like NFL players like, I'm going to Disney World, which fucking sucks, by the way. I remember seeing like the day after Patrick Mahomes won, he probably was. I mean, let's be honest, he just won the Super Bowl. He's probably out getting fucking wasted, and then at 10 o'clock in the morning, he had to go out and do this Disney World parade.
Same.
Poor guy. But regardless, I in my head, I imagine the second they win, they go straight to the Disney World parade, and they go back to the hotel. Like, on the float. Like, that's how I imagine that happening. That's what I choose to believe.
Hey, man, it may or may not be the case. But all I know is we have no boxing news because there's no boxing going on. There's just a lot of boxing rumors it's just kind of like how it always is generally. But it's even worse now because they probably won't happen.
Yeah, I mean, you know what messed me up? And I was just thinking about this. Canelo should be fighting this weekend.
Yeah, he should be.
That's supposed to be happening. Like, MMA is like, it fucks me up because, we missed out on Tony Habib, but I didn't think that was going to happen anyway. But the one about Canelo, I was like, there's going to be no, like, fights on, like, Cinco de Mayo and all that shit. Like, that kind of fucked me up. I'm not, like...
Yeah, you're right.
It's been such a thing for, like, ever. Like, I'm used to people like big like boxing matches.
Well, we have nothing right now. I mean, we're not gonna see Bud fight forever. We're not gonna see Canelo fight forever. And as it is, it already takes like half a year to set up a fight for these guys. You know what I mean?
No, Canelo may not even fight in 2020.
He might not, even though he has a contract that obligates him to, have a certain amount of fights done.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's got to be a pandemic out, right? Like, that has to be a thing.
Shit, I mean, I don't know. It's all paper, bro. You know these contracts with these big dogs.
I mean, you're right, but I'm not even sure, because I know that some dudes just don't want to fight without crowds. That's why Fury Wilder may not even happen this year. The trilogy. Bob Arum was talking.
For Wilder is like a blessing right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He should not he should not be doing it.
Like, the amount of recovery time he's going to get plus some is ideal.
Dude, it's insane to me that he was supposed to, like, what day is this? April 30th? In less than 2 months from now, he was supposed to be fighting Fury. Like a month and a half from now. That's not even close to enough preparation time.
Dude, that's how it was back in the day.
That's why people died.
This is how it was back in the day. Josh, you know why we're soft now? No, I was kidding.
People nowadays are too fucking soft.
We need 15-round fights again. We need some Jake LaMotta's in our world, man.
Absolutely. I mean, people out here are just too soft now. That's the problem.
But all jokes aside,
millennials are the worst.
all jokes aside, the man has been blessed with a pandemic in some way not, you know? Because his fight's going to have to get delayed now. And they're obligated to have a rematch. Like, it was it's through a contraction. They were obligated to fight each other. They're going to fight each other again.
Yeah. And, like, for a lot of dudes, they're getting more time. I think that's that's the good thing. And for Wilder, that's obviously the best thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because he needed that recovery time. And I couldn't believe they were going to trot him out there just a couple of months after he got... That was one of the worst beatings I've seen live in boxing in a while. And I get that it was because of the eardrum, so he literally had no balance, so it's not like he could defend himself. But at the same time, because he couldn't defend himself, the fight should have been over like 4 rounds before it was.
Oh, yeah, probably. But, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. It'd be like that sometimes, Chief. You know the deal.
Yeah. But, you know, it's officially set for October 3rd. The trilogy is. But
also no Manny this year. We're probably not going to see Manny fight. Manny was probably going to fight once this year.
Oh, shit, you're right. And I was I was so excited for Manny. Like, because he has so many options right now.
And he has a title. Like, he's defending a title. Like, it's a good year for him.
Like, Floyd was going to fight this year, although that probably was not going to happen after his uncle died.
Yeah, no. And then someone else who was meaningful in his life, too.
Yeah, his ex-wife, the one. You know, I don't even want to bring up because I don't want people to get mad at me. But yeah, his ex-wife.
Yeah. So who knows what's gonna happen there? Thing is, a lot of things are gonna have to work out a certain way. But hopefully, if we can get some sort of normalcy before the end of the year, maybe we'll see some stuff happen. Yeah,
and I think I was sitting there wondering, like, it's weird to see just the difference between other sports like organizations versus the UFC, because according to all statistics and matters, the UFC shouldn't be happening right now. And I don't want to be the guy who's a downer, but I'm right. And
but it's happening.
But it's happening, So it's definitely like conflicting, and you have like other shit going on, so it's definitely strange. But like just looking at like the NBA, how cautious they're being, looking at like boxing, like there's no boxing at all. Like there's not even planned boxing.
There's not even any thought of it happening right now.
None. Like Wilder Fury, like that one was already postponed to October, and he's like, yeah, we're probably gonna put that off until December or whenever there can be fans.
All I know is the one beauty of this thing is that when everything returns, everything's gonna be blowing up. Like, UFC will be popping when it gets back. Like once the UFC, we hope, and then obviously it goes well.
UFC's gonna be popping in 10 days, my guy.
Yeah, it's gonna be popping hard. I mean, we're talking this card's gonna get a lot of buys because people don't have anything to do. Well, might as well buy the UFC card. Not spending my money on anything else. Maybe my rent and food. That's about it.
Yeah, shit. I might even buy this card, and I don't buy cards like that often.
That's good.
Yeah, I had to throw in that often, like just.
Yeah, because you go out and watch it at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, like a good man, I go to the bar nearby me,
Yeah, no, and I mean, like, dude, like, if Wilder and Fury fight again, like, let's just say hypothetically at MSG in December, like, you know how massive that's going to be, let alone because of the hype and just because there hasn't been any boxing,
Yeah,
any major boxing up until that point. Like,
yeah. Whenever
that
stuff goes
will
back
be
to,
a big event.
I keep on thinking in my head like once shit goes back to normal, think about how awesome it's gonna be.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, stuff kind of sucks right now, and I mean not for me because I'm an introvert and staying inside my house playing video games and not doing much is pretty fucking awesome. However, um, for most people, it kind of sucks. But think about how awesome it's gonna be whenever shit goes back to normal.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
shit's gonna be
And I mean,
popping.
we're all ready. We're all ready for it. We all want it. I mean, none of us like being in our houses all day. Well, even us who like being inside all day, would enjoy some normalcy just because of some things that we enjoy that go on in regular life aren't going on in regular life.
Yeah, but
But yeah, I mean, hopefully here soon.
To kind of wrap up and talk briefly about this. I know that The Last Dance happened. Yes, we'll talk about it at some point. No, I know you're not caught up, and I still have yet to see this week's episodes.
Hopefully by next week, man. Or if not the week after that, because we're gonna have a content heavy week next week. So we probably won't do Last Dance talks, probably, in my opinion, or at least just to say, I know we're talking about it now. It's kind of weird, but you know what I mean. Next week's
Yeah,
gonna be a very content heavy week, so
I brought it up because I wanted to say like, well, we're gonna talk about it, just not this week. I do know that the most recent episode was mostly fixated on Rodman and kind of the whole story involving him and like his kind of involvement on those Bulls teams. I know this focused one episode on Pippen, now they're doing one on Robin, which sounds amazing, and I've heard that it was amazing. So
just like the 30 for 30, which is also amazing. Yeah, that's
yeah, still need to see that too, but yeah, so we're gonna get it caught up on it, and whenever we do, we'll talk about it. But I believe that's all we got for this week, if I'm right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So thank you guys for listening as always. Courtside Soundoff on Spotify, YouTube, all the stuff. This is a pretty good month for us. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all kind of the social media platforms that we use. I mentioned earlier that I'm going to make an ESPN Fantasy League, which I will tweet out and probably put on Facebook or something else for UFC 249 if you guys want to make picks and, have fun with us. Then you guys can do that. I'll put out that link later today. So if you guys want to join, that'll be fun. But yeah, all the previous stuff I just mentioned, I'm at Josh Evanov on Twitter. If you guys want to read that piece I went ahead and I talked about earlier in the show, that's on cagesidepress.com. And Angel is at AngelTega_01. Thank you guys for listening as always, and we appreciate it. So peace and butt grease. Mouse click.